Hi, welcome to Building Technology. This session is on Introduction to Buildings. Today's session, we're going to talk about an introduction to buildings. We're also going to think about what we mean by primary elements and secondary elements. We're going to consider substructure and superstructure. We're also going to consider building design influences. So we need to think about what we mean by a building. The definition of a building is a structure having an external envelope that encloses space. We can see here the example of a structure with two different types of buildings. The load-bearing or primary elements of a building can be subdivided into substructure and superstructure. The primary elements of building are made up of four parts: the foundation, wall, floor and roof. The foundation here is an example. We can see the formwork is protecting the concrete, and we can also see the reinforcement or rebar as well. We can also see the worker here building a blockwork wall. We can see here the three workers pouring the concrete, laying the concrete on top of the reinforced concrete floor. We can see the roof construction and the builder having resting and completed some work. The secondary elements are made up of the stair, door and window. The example we can see here is the concrete stair construction. Another secondary element is that of the door being constructed. We can also see the window being constructed, also as part of a secondary element. Substructure is everything or all the structure below ground level, i.e. foundations. Substructure also includes the ground floor slab and the damp-proof course, and we can see the worker laying the damp-proof course. Substructure receives all the loads from the superstructure. Substructure then transfers the load safely down to a load-bearing strata of the earth. Superstructure is all the structure above the structure, substructure, externally and internally. Superstructure provides resistance to loads, transfer of loads and provides stability. Superstructure loads stability, vertical, lateral, turning and requires resistance to bending. We must also consider the building design influences, and we must understand the client and or user requirements. Buildings must therefore comply with building control legislation or laws that influence the building design. The client requirements and building legislation influences the basic form of building. The client requirements and building legislation influences the selection of the structure type. So today we've briefly talked about an introduction to buildings. We've talked about the primary elements and secondary elements. We've talked about the substructure and superstructure, and we've finished off with the influences regards to the building design. Feel free to send us any feedback to info@surveyingcollege.com. So thanks very much for listening and subscribe at Surveying College. Thank you.